Greetings and salutations, everyone. Today, thanks to one of our lovely little bytelings named Alyssarr9fox, who gave me the ability to play Astellia Online in Korea, I was able to play it. Astellia Online is, of course, one of the upcoming MMORPGs that will be coming out in the West later this year. We've done several news videos on it thus far. Now, the first thing that one would notice when going into Astellia Online is that it has absolutely gorgeous characters and scenery. They are absolutely amazing. And the game is packed full of players. Although, unfortunately, it seems as though I was one of the only people that actually spent a lot of time customizing their character's appearance, as everyone I could see in the town looked so similar to one another. I mean, guys, the character creation system is amazing. Why wouldn't you spend the time to create the most beautiful character you could ever imagine? I literally spent over 20 minutes creating my bodacious beauty. Wait a second, is that? No, it can't be. A male character? Blasphemer! How dare he play a male character in this female utopia? You cannot reject the jiggly gods. The jiggly gods are not to be messed with. Off with his head. Anyway, moving on. Astellia Online does have a gender-locked system in place, so the characters are gender-locked, at least in the Korean release. The Western release, however, will be removing this feature and will have no gender-locked classes to be seen, though they did mention it may not be available at the initial release of the Western version. That being said, whilst playing through Astellia Online, I couldn't help but notice that the game really reminded me of Blade & Soul. From the animations to the physics in-game, if you know what I'm talking about, it all just screamed Blade & Soul. Besides that, Astellia Online's world actually reminded me somewhat of Ion, from the flight path system in place to the maps and regions around. They all seemed very similar to Ion, which in my opinion is actually pretty awesome. I loved Ion and I loved playing Blade & Soul, so having a love child between the two is something amazing. Although if you do get the impression that Astellia Online is an open world MMORPG, I'm sorry to burst that bubble, as it's not. Whilst it gives off the appearance of an open world MMORPG, it is in fact a semi-instanced MMORPG, and I will explain what I mean by that. Whilst the regions themselves don't tend to have any loading screens, despite the fact that you might see portals scattered around, which really confused me. Usually portals mean loading screens, but in this game it wasn't the case. When roaming around, everything is open, but there are blocked off regions that you can't actually access, so you can reach the end of a region just by running to the left for a little bit or running to the right for a little bit, as you can see here. So it's a semi-open, semi-instanced world. It's a very unique system. I haven't really seen many games use this. But before I continue on any more features, I just have to say, Dance Party! Even your summoned companions join in on the dance party. It's amazing! Speaking of the companions, you can have more than one summon at any given time. However, the second summon or companion you use consumes the focus bar, or energy, whatever you want to call it. So this second summon cannot stay out permanently, unlike the original companion. These companions or summons also have a star rating system and a job. The star rating system will of course affect how good they are in combat and their stats, and the jobs will determine what their class is, obviously. They can be anything from a ranger to a mage, or a tank, or melee DPS. That's not the only thing that you can do with your companions, however, as they can also get outfits from the in-game item mall. And there's a lot of outfits to get. Although do keep in mind that the Western release will be overhauling the item mall system, and therefore all of the items you see here are subject to change. That being said, I did enjoy looking through all of the outfits your companions can get. They look awesome. Anyway, after leveling up and completing some quests, I was able to enter my very first dungeon, which I was very excited about. Now, it was rather easy to solo, so that was a little disappointing. However, after I looked around, I did find out that there was a more difficult version available. However, you will have to queue up to enter it from the Instance tab. There you can queue for a practice area, a PvP arena, a place that roughly translates to Avalon. Not that I am entirely sure what that means or what that entails, And then there is, of course, dungeon queuing. Queuing up for dungeons gives you better rewards than completing it solo, so I assume this is what you would do to get new gear, new summons, and to generally experience a more difficult dungeon. Moving on to some of the features within the game, Astellia Online allows you to upgrade your skills somewhat like you can in Terra. You can upgrade those skills to have more strength or to shorten the cooldown rate of specific skills. Each skill tends to have different abilities attached to it that you can upgrade, so it's a really interesting feature. Besides that, your class can later upgrade into a more advanced class. For me, as my class is Archer, they can upgrade into either a Hawkeye, a Ranger, or a Bounty Hunter. So, from what I can see thus far, Astellia Online seems like a really fun MMORPG. Now, I will point out that it does seem to be a stuttering issue. However, I'm not entirely sure what it is caused by, whether it is an optimization issue or if it is due to my connection using a VPN, as my game did run a little wonky at times because my Korean connection was absolutely terrible. All in all, I had an absolute blast playing through Astellia Online, and I look forward to exploring more and leveling up further until it is eventually released in the West. And you guys will be the first to see it. So with all of that being said and done, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and good day, night, or afternoon, wherever it is where you guys are, and I'll be seeing you next time. So don't forget to check out the new videos.